forest doesn't care. The trees don't bend for her. The thorns rip her skin with the same indifference the pack showed when they cast her out 3 winters ago. Blood blooms on her ankles, dark against the snow, and somewhere behind her, voices rise like wolves on a hunt. But they're not hunting wolves tonight. They're hunting her son. The thought splinters something in her chest, something already cracked and barely holding. She stumbles, catches herself against rough bark that bites into her palm, and forces her legs to keep moving. The storm overhead mirrors the chaos in her veins. Thunder cracks like breaking bones. Lightning illuminates the world in flashes of white-hot terror, and in those brief moments of brightness, she sees him. Her boy. Her little Theo. For years old and small for his age, running ahead of her with the desperate energy of a child who doesn't fully understand why mommy keeps crying, why the people who smiled at them this morning are screaming at them now. His dark hair is plastered to his skull by rain. His clothes hang torn and soaked against his small frame. And in his eyes, those wide, terrified eyes that should only ever know safety and warmth, there's a silver glow that shouldn't exist. Not yet. Not this young. The shift shouldn't come until puberty. That's the law written in blood and bone, in every werewolf text, in every pack's oral history. Children are human until they're teens. They're safe from the curse until their bodies can handle the transformation. But Theo isn't safe, because Theo isn't fully human. And Elena is the reason why. Mommy? His voice cuts through the rain, high and breaking. Mommy, I can't stop it. She sees the shimmer beginning along his arms. Sees the way his fingers start to elongate, the way his small body convulses with a power it was never meant to contain. The silver flame that lives in her own blood, the gift, the curse, she inherited from a bloodline everyone thought extinct, is waking in her son years too early. And it's going to kill him. Theo, baby, hold on. She reaches him, drops to her knees in the mud, and pulls him against her chest. His body burns with fever. His heartbeat hammers against her ribs like something trying to break free. Hold on, just hold on. But she doesn't know what she's asking him to hold on to. Behind them, the voices grow closer. She recognizes them. Marcus, who used to nod at her at the market. Celine, who once brought soup when Theo was sick. And leading them, she knows without looking, is Damien. Her former alpha, the man who exiled her, the man who declared her too dangerous to breathe the same air as his precious, pure pack. There, someone shouts. By the ravine. Elena's arms tighten around Theo. The ravine. She knows it. A 60-foot drop into rocks and rushing water, swollen now with storm runoff. Behind her is certain death at the hands of people she once called family. Ahead is probable death by nature's indifference. Some choice. Theo's small hands clutch at her shirt. Mommy, they're saying bad things. They're saying you hurt people. You didn't hurt people, right? You didn't. Never. The word rips from her throat. Baby, never. I would never. But the lie tastes like ash because she did hurt someone. Once. Years ago. Before Theo. Before she learned control. Before she understood that the silver flame living in her veins wasn't just power, it was a weapon that destroyed everything it touched. She'd been 17 and terrified and so alone. And she'd burned her alpha's son to death without meaning to. The memory lives in her bones. The smell of burning flesh. The sound of screaming. The look in everyone's eyes when they realized what she was, what she carried, what she could do without even trying. But Theo doesn't need to know that. Theo needs to believe his mother is good, even if the world insists she's a monster. The pack breaks through the tree line. 10 of them. Maybe 12. Enough to overwhelm her even on her best day, and this is far from her best day. Elena lurches to her feet, Theo's weight awkward in her arms. He's too big to carry easily now, growing so fast, her beautiful boy, and she backs toward the ravine's edge. Damien steps forward. He's a big man, broad-shouldered and scarred, with gray threading through his dark hair. His eyes are amber, the mark of an alpha, but there's no warmth in them. There never was. Not for her. Elena. His voice is steady. Reasonable. The voice of a man who believes he's doing the right thing. Put the boy down. So you can kill him? Her voice shakes. Rain streams down her face, mixing with tears she refuses to acknowledge. So you can destroy him like you tried to destroy me? So we can help him. Damien's expression doesn't change. The child is sick, Elena. The shift is coming too early. He needs pack healers, pack magic. He needs his mother. The words explode from her, raw and jagged. He needs to be left alone. He needs. Theo convulses in her arms. A cry tears from his small throat, and suddenly there's light, silver light, crackling along his skin like lightning given form. The air around them heats. The rain touching him turns to steam. And Elena feels it. The pull. The call of the flame in her own blood, recognizing its mirror in her son, reaching for him, wanting to connect, wanting to merge, wanting to. No. She slams her mental shields down, the ones she's spent years building, years perfecting. If her power touches his now while he's this unstable, it could catalyze the shift fully. It could burn him from the inside out. You see. Damien's voice cuts through her panic. You see what he's becoming? The same thing you are. An abomination. A threat to every living wolf in. Don't you dare. Elena's voice drops to something lethal. Something that makes even Damien take a step back. Don't you dare call my son an abomination. But Theo is changing. She can feel it in the way his bones shift beneath her hands, in the heat pouring off him in waves, in the silver glow intensifying behind his eyes. He's crying, sobbing against her shoulder, and his tears burn where they touch her skin. Mommy, make it stop. Please make it stop. It hurts. I know, baby. I know. She doesn't know how to stop it. She doesn't know how to save him. The pack is closing in, forming a semicircle, cutting off every escape route except the one behind her. The ravine. The drop. The water that might kill them or might, if they're impossibly lucky, carry them far enough away to survive another day. Elena makes a choice. It's not a good choice. It's barely a choice at all. But it's the only one she has. I'm sorry, she whispers against Theo's hair. I'm so sorry. And she steps backward, off the edge, into empty air. For a moment, there's nothing but falling. Wind screaming in her ears. Theo's shriek cutting through the storm. The pack's roar of fury fading above them. Elena twists, trying to position her body beneath Theo's, trying to give him whatever protection her flesh can offer against the rocks below. The water hits like concrete. Cold slams into every nerve. The current grabs them, vicious and indifferent, and tears Theo from her arms. Elena's scream fills with water. She thrashes, reaches, finds nothing but liquid darkness and the terrible absence of her son's weight against her chest. No. No, 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 no. Her head breaks the surface. She gasps, chokes, searches the churning rapids for any sign of dark hair, small limbs, silver light. The storm has turned the river into chaos. Debris smashes past her. A log catches her shoulder, spinning her sideways. Theo. Nothing answers but thunder. Elena swims. She swims until her muscles turn to liquid fire, until her lungs burn worse than any flame she's ever conjured, until the cold seeps so deep into her bones that she forgets what warmth feels like. She searches every shadow, every eddy, every place a small body might catch or hide or... Please. Please, not this. Take me, break me, burn me to ash, but please not him. Not my son. Not my... The current throws her against something solid. A boulder. She clings to it, sobbing, barely feeling the pain as the water tries to tear her away. Around her, the forest is alien in the darkness. She doesn't know how far they've traveled. Miles, maybe. Far enough that the pack's voices are long gone, swallowed by distance and storm. Far enough that she's completely, utterly alone. Theo, she whispers. Then screams it. Theo. The forest swallows her voice and gives nothing back. Elena pulls herself onto the boulder. Every movement is agony. Her body is a map of bruises, cuts, the deep ache of muscles pushed past breaking. But none of it matters. Nothing matters except movement. Downstream. Something small and pale, caught in the roots of a fallen tree. Elena throws herself back into the water. She doesn't remember crossing the distance. Doesn't remember fighting the current or the cold or her own body's desperate demands to stop, rest, surrender. She only remembers reaching those roots, those precious roots, and finding Theo. Unconscious. Pale. So terribly still. But breathing. She drags him onto the bank, her hands shaking so violently she can barely grip his small form. His chest rises and falls. Shallow. Too shallow. His skin is ice cold, the silver glow extinguished, and for a terrible moment she thinks the power burned itself out, taking his life with it. Then his eyes flutter open. Normal eyes. Brown. Human. Mommy? The word breaks her. Elena collapses over him, arms circling his small body, and sobs into his soaked hair. I've got you. I've got you, baby. You're okay. They were hurting you. His voice is so small. So confused. The people. They were saying mean things and hurting you, and I got mad, and then I got hot, and then… Shoo. It's okay. It's over. But it's not over. It will never be over. Because the silver flame that lives in her bloodline, the gift of her great-grandmother, the power that made her pack cast her out and brand her a monster, is also in her son. And sooner or later, it will wake again. Sooner or later, they'll have to face what that means. Elena forces herself upright. They need shelter. Fire. Safety. She needs to check Theo for injuries, needs to warm him before hypothermia sets in, needs to. A twig snaps behind her. Elena spins, putting her body between Theo and whatever's there, silver flame already crackling to life in her palms despite her exhaustion. If it's the pack, she'll burn them all. She doesn't care about control anymore. She doesn't care about. A man steps out of the shadows. No, not a man. An alpha. She knows it instantly. Knows it in the way the air pressure changes, in the sudden weight of presence that makes her wolf whimper and want to bare its throat. This isn't Damien's brittle authority or Marcus's borrowed power. This is something ancient. He's tall, built like violence wrapped in human skin, with dark hair and eyes that catch the lightning and throw it back silver gold. He's dressed simply, dark pants, darker shirt, but there's nothing simple about the way he moves. Nothing human. And he's looking at Theo. Don't. Elena's voice is pure threat. The silver flame in her hands burns brighter. Don't you dare touch him. The stranger's gaze shifts to her. For a moment, something flickers in those inhuman eyes. Recognition? Surprise? Elena Thorne, he says, and his voice is midnight and thunder and old power. I've been looking for you. If this tale has already gripped something inside you, if you're feeling the pull of Elena's terror and the weight of her love, then subscribe to Cindy's Wolfheart stories. Hit that bell icon. Because here, we don't just tell stories, we live them. And this one? This one is just beginning. Elena's world narrows to 3 points of awareness. First, the stranger who shouldn't know her name. Second, Theo's small, cold body pressed against her legs. Third, the silver flame crackling between her fingers, ready to destroy anything that threatens her son. How do you know my name? The words come out low. Dangerous. She's past fear now. Fear is a luxury for people who have something left to lose. How do you? I know a lot of things about you, Elena Thorne. He doesn't move closer, but his presence fills the space anyway. I know you were exiled from the Crescent Moon Pack 3 years ago. I know you've been hiding in human towns, taking whatever work you can find, keeping your son away from anything supernatural. I know you haven't shifted in over 4 years because you're terrified of losing control. Each word lands like a blade. I also know, he continues, softer now, that you ran through 5 miles of forest tonight with the pack at your heels. That you jumped off a 60-foot ravine to save your son. That you pulled him from a flooded river with 3 cracked ribs and a dislocated shoulder. Elena's breath catches. She hadn't noticed the ribs, hadn't felt the shoulder. Adrenaline is a beautiful liar, but now that he's mentioned it, the pain comes crashing in. Her vision swims. She doesn't lower her hands. "Who are you?" she demands. "Someone who can help." His eyes drop to Theo again, and something in his expression softens. The boy's hypothermic. He needs warmth, dry clothes, food. "And you're about 30 seconds from passing out." "I'm fine. You're dying on your feet." No judgment in his voice. Just fact. "Elena, I'm not your enemy. If I wanted to hurt you, I would have done it while you were in the water. I would have let the river finish what your pack started." "Then what do you want?" The stranger tilts his head, and for a moment, lightning illuminates his face fully. He's younger than she first thought. Mid-30s, maybe. But his eyes are older. Ancient, even. Like something that's seen centuries pass and remembered every moment. "I want," he says carefully, "to take you somewhere safe. Both of you. I have a cabin half a mile north. Fire. Medical supplies. Food. No one will find you there. Why would you help us?" "Because," he says, and now there's weight behind the word, "you're not the only one who's been running, Elena." Theo stirs against her legs. His teeth are chattering, his small body shaking with cold, and Elena feels her resolve crack. She can't do this alone. She can't keep him warm, can't treat his injuries, can't. "If you hurt him," she says, and the silver flame flares brighter, "I will burn you until there's nothing left but ash. I will make you scream for death and deny you even that mercy. Do you understand?" The stranger doesn't flinch. "I understand. If you're lying to me." "I'm not." They stare at each other across the rain-soaked darkness. Elena's instincts are screaming contradictions. Run. Trust him. Fight. Surrender. Her wolf is confused, drawn to his power, but terrified of what it means. Alphas don't help outcasts. Alphas don't notice people like her except to destroy them. But Theo's shaking is getting worse. Elena makes another choice. Another terrible, necessary choice. She lets the silver flame die in her hands. "Half a mile," she says. "If it's more than that, if I even suspect." "It's not." He turns, pauses, looks back. "Can you walk?" "Yes." It's a lie. The moment she tries to take a step, her leg buckles. The stranger catches her before she hits the ground, his arms sliding around her waist, taking her weight with ease. Elena tenses, every muscle screaming at the contact, but Theo is looking up at her with such trust, such exhausted hope, that she can't pull away. "I can carry the boy too," the stranger offers. "No." The word is automatic. Final. He nods like he expected nothing else. "Then hold on to me." They move through the forest like ghosts. The stranger, he still hasn't given his name, navigates the terrain with the ease of someone who knows every route, every stone, every shadow. Elena stumbles along beside him, Theo clutched in her free arm, pride and necessity warring in her chest. She hates needing help. She hates that this stranger, this unknown alpha, is seeing her at her weakest. She hates that part of her feels safer than she has in years, just from the solid strength of his arm around her waist. "What's your name?" Theo's voice is small, directed at the stranger. "Zane." "Like the hurricane?" A hint of something, amusement, flickers across Zane's face. "Something like that." "I'm Theo. I'm 4. Well, almost 5. My birthday is in." He stops, confused. "Mommy, when's my birthday?" "March, baby." Elena's voice is hoarse. "It's in March." "Oh. Yeah. March." Theo's head lolls against her shoulder. "Are you a good guy or a bad guy, Zane?" The stranger's pause is almost imperceptible. "I'm trying to be a good guy." Trying is what Mommy says when something is hard. Theo's eyes are already closing. She says trying is brave. Something shifts in Zane's expression. Elena catches it in profile, a tightening around his eyes, a brief flash of something that might be pain. Then it's gone, replaced by that same careful neutrality. The cabin appears through the trees like something from a fairy tale. It's small, weathered, but solid. Smoke rises from a stone chimney. Warm light glows in the windows. Elena's suspicion flares. You said you were looking for me. How long have you been? The fire's automated. Zane pushes open the door. I have heating spells woven into the structure. Useful when you need shelter fast. The interior is sparse but clean. One room serving as kitchen, living space, and sleeping area. A stone fireplace dominates one wall, flames crackling cheerfully. A bed against the far wall, covered in furs. Shelves stocked with supplies. A small bathroom visible through an open door. And along every wall, carved into the wooden beams, are runes. Protection runes. Concealment runes. Wards so complex and powerful that Elena's breath catches. Who are you? She whispers. Zane closes the door behind them. Locks it. His hand passes over the frame, and the runes flare blue, sealing them inside. Someone who knows what it's like, he says, to be hunted for power you didn't ask for. He moves to a chest in the corner, pulling out blankets, dry clothes, a first aid kit that looks military grade. Elena sets Theo on the floor near the fire, her hands already stripping away his wet clothes with the efficiency of years of practice. The boy is too cold, too tired to protest. Zane tosses her a towel. Then a thick sweater that will drown Theo but will warm him. Wool socks. A blanket that smells like cedar and something else, something wild. Get him dry, Zane orders, but there's no cruelty in it. I'll make something hot to drink. Elena wants to argue. Wants to maintain control. But her hands are shaking too badly, and Theo needs her functional, not proud. She dries him carefully, checking every inch of skin for injury. Bruises. Scrapes. Nothing serious. Nothing that won't heal. The silver glow that transformed him earlier is completely gone. He looks like any other exhausted 4-year-old. But she knows better. She dresses him in the oversized clothes, wraps him in the blanket, and holds him close. His breathing evens out, deepens. Sleep takes him fast, the way it does with children, that gift of resilience that lets them escape when the world becomes too heavy. A mug appears in her peripheral vision. Elena looks up. Zane is crouched beside her, offering something that steams and smells like honey and herbs. Tea, he says. It'll help with the cold. The pain. She takes it with numb fingers. The first sip burns, but the second settles something in her chest. The third lets her breathe properly for the first time in hours. Zane settles across from her, his own mug in hand, and for a moment they just sit in silence. The fire crackles. The rain pounds against the roof. Theo's small snores fill the spaces in between. You have 3 cracked ribs on your left side, Zane says eventually. The shoulder will need to be set. You've lost blood, though not enough to be critical. You'll live, but you'll hurt for a while. I've hurt before. I know. Elena's eyes snap to his. What do you know? You keep saying you know things about me, but you won't say how or why or... Because you were on a list. Zane's voice is flat. Empty. A list I acquired from the Alpha Council 6 months ago. A list of wolves who manifested rare bloodline gifts. Wolves they deemed too dangerous to integrate. Too valuable to kill outright. The words settle like ice in her stomach. A list. 47 names. Most were children of the great bloodlines, Ember Colors, Storm Singers, Shadow Walkers. Powers that haven't been seen in centuries, suddenly waking up in random pack members across the country. The council wanted them documented. Tracked. Controlled. And me? Zane's eyes meet hers. You were number 3. Silver Flame Bearer. Direct descendant of the Thorn line. Exiled from Crescent Moon Pack after accidentally killing an Alpha's son during manifestation. Whereabouts unknown. Status. Extremely dangerous. Elena's throat tightens. Your counsel. I was. Something cold and lethal enters his voice. Until I learned what they planned to do with that list. Until I realized they weren't just documenting these wolves, they were collecting them. For what? Zane's jaw tightens. A weapon. An army. Something to tip the balance of power in their favor when the territories fracture. Which they will, Elena. The council knows it. War is coming between the packs, and they want every advantage they can get. Elena's arms tighten around Theo. They want to use children. They want to use anyone with power. Child, adult, doesn't matter. If you have a gift, you're a resource. And resources are meant to be exploited. So what? Anger flares in her chest. You're here to collect me? Bring me in? Get a gold star from your council masters. I'm here, Zane says, and his voice drops to something raw, because I destroyed that list. Because I killed the 3 council members who created it. Because I've spent 6 months tracking down every name on it, warning them, helping them hide. And because he stops. Breathes. You're the last one. The last one. The words echo in the silence. Elena stares at this stranger. This alpha who claims he murdered council members, who claims he's been protecting bloodline wolves, who knows her name and her story and her greatest shame. Why should I believe you? Zane reaches into his pocket, pulls out something small and worn. A photograph. He holds it out. Elena takes it with her free hand. The image is old, creased, but clear enough. A young girl, maybe 7, with silver blonde hair and eyes that glow faintly in the camera flash. She's smiling, gap-toothed and joyful, holding up a drawing of a wolf. Her name was Lyra, Zane says, and there's a world of pain in those 4 words. My sister. She was a storm singer. Could call lightning from clear skies, could make thunder speak her name. The council took her when she was 8 years old. Told my parents she'd be trained properly. Kept safe. We believed them. Zane. They used her until her body gave out. His voice is steady. Mechanical. The voice of someone who's told the story so many times it's lost its power to break him. She was 12 when she died. 12 years old, and they'd burned through her like a candle, using her power to fight their wars, settle their disputes, enforce their laws. They sent us her ashes in an unmarked box with a letter thanking us for her service. Elena's chest aches. I'm sorry. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. Zane's eyes lock onto hers. I'm telling you so you understand. I won't let them do to anyone else what they did to Lyra. I won't let them take your son and turn him into a weapon. I'll burn the council to the ground before I let that happen. The firelight dances across his face, and Elena sees it clearly now. The rage. The grief. The absolute conviction. This man is dangerous. Not to her, but to anyone who threatens what he's decided to protect. If you're lying, she says softly, if this is some elaborate trick. It's not. Zane stands, moving to the shelves, pulling down more supplies. But I don't expect you to trust me. Not yet. Trust takes time. So here's what I'm offering. Stay here tonight. Rest. Heal. In the morning, if you want to leave, I'll help you disappear. New identities. Safe houses. Money. Whatever you need. And if I don't want to leave? He pauses. Looks back at her. Then I teach you to control your power. I teach your son to control his. And we figure out together how to survive in a world that wants to destroy you for daring to be different. Elena looks down at Theo. At her beautiful boy, sleeping peacefully for the first time in days. At the soft rise and fall of his chest, the innocence in his slack features. She thinks about the ravine. The river. The pack's hatred. She thinks about running forever, always one step ahead of discovery. She thinks about the silver flame in her veins, the power she's spent years trying to suppress because everyone told her it made her a monster. And she thinks about this stranger, this Zane, who looks at her not with fear but with recognition. Who understands what it means to carry power and pay the price for it. I don't trust you, she says finally. Good. You shouldn't. But I don't have a choice. You always have a choice, Elena. Zane's voice is gentle. It just might not be a good one. She almost laughs. Almost. Story of my life. Mine too. He holds out a hand. Let me set your shoulder. Then you need to sleep. We'll talk more in the morning. Elena hesitates. Then slowly, carefully, she lays Theo on the furs by the fire and stands. Her body screams in protest. The room tilts. Zane's hand steadies her. This is going to hurt. I know. Count of 3. Just do it. He does. The pain is white-hot, blinding, and Elena bites down on a scream as her shoulder pops back into place. Zane holds her upright through it, his grip strong and sure, and when the worst of it fades, she's leaning against his chest, breathing hard, tears streaming down her face. "I've got you," he murmurs. "You're okay. I hate this." The words burst out before she can stop them. "I hate needing help. I hate being weak. I hate. You jumped off a cliff for your son." Zane's voice is fierce. "You pulled him from a flooded river with broken ribs. You crossed 5 miles of hostile territory on sheer will. Elena, you're a lot of things, but weak isn't one of them." She pulls back, meeting his eyes. They're silver gold in the firelight, inhuman and compelling, and there's something in them that makes her breath catch. Not pity. Recognition. He sees her. Not the exile, not the monster, not the desperate mother. Just her. "Come on," he says gently. "You need rest." He guides her to the bed, helps her sit without jostling her ribs. Brings her water, painkillers, another blanket. His movements are efficient, practiced, and Elena wonders how many other wounded wolves he's helped like this. How many names on that list he's saved. Theo stirs by the fire. Zane moves to him immediately, adjusting the blanket, checking his temperature with a hand against the boy's forehead. His expression softens again, and Elena's chest tightens. This alpha with blood on his hands and grief in his eyes is gentle with her son. It's more than anyone else has been in 3 years. "Sleep," Zane says without looking at her. "I'll keep watch." "You don't have to." "I do." He settles into a chair by the door, positioning himself between them and any potential threat. "Because that's what we do, Elena. We protect each other. Starting now." Elena lies back. Every muscle throbs. The painkillers are already dulling the edges, but exhaustion is a deeper pull. Her eyes drift closed. The last thing she hears before sleep takes her is Zane's voice, low and steady, speaking to Theo like a promise. "I've got you, little one. Both of you. And I'm not letting go." Elena dreams of fire. She's 17 again, standing in the Crescent Moon Pack's ceremonial grounds, surrounded by wolves who used to know her name. Used to smile at her. Used to treat her like she belonged. Before the power woke in her veins like something with teeth. Before the silver flame turned her from Elena Thorne, ordinary pack member, into Elena Thorne, the girl too dangerous to keep. In the dream, the memory, the moment that destroyed everything, she's arguing with Connor, Damien's son, the alpha heir, her childhood friend turned tormentor. He's blocking her path to the pack house, his face twisted with that particular cruelty teenage boys wear like armor. "Freaks don't get to eat with us," he's saying. "Your grandmother was cursed, your mother was cursed, and you're worse than both of them combined. Let me pass, Connor." Her voice is shaking. She's so hungry. The pack's been forgetting to feed her for 3 days now, and she's too proud to beg. "Just let me. Make me." He shoves her. It's not hard. Just enough to send her stumbling back, to make the other wolves laugh, to prove his point. But Elena's exhausted. Starving. 17 and scared and so tired of being the one everyone gets to hurt. And something inside her snaps. The silver flame erupts. Not controlled. Not directed. Just pure, terrified power exploding outward in a wave of heat and light. Connor doesn't even have time to scream. One moment he's laughing, and the next he's burning. Silver fire consumes him. His clothes ignite. His skin blackens. His body convulses, and the smell, God, the smell. Elena tries to stop it. Tries to pull the power back, to smother it, to do anything except watch as Connor collapses, as the flames eat through muscle and bone, as his final gurgling breath rattles out into silence. Then everyone's screaming. Someone tackles her. Damien maybe, or Marcus. Hands pin her arms, drag her away from Connor's smoking corpse. More hands beat at the flames still flickering on her skin, but they don't burn her. They never burn her. The silver flame only destroys what she loves. The dream shifts. She's kneeling before the pack council. Damien is there, his eyes empty with grief, and she wants to tell him she's sorry. Wants to explain that she didn't mean it, that she never wanted to hurt Connor, that the power just erupted and she couldn't control it. But the words die in her throat because she sees the way they're all looking at her. Not like a girl who made a mistake. Like a weapon that misfired. Like something that needs to be destroyed before it kills again. Elena Thorne. The head councilwoman's voice is ice. You have murdered the Alpha Heir. You have proven yourself unable to control the cursed flame of your bloodline. You are a danger to every member of this pack. I didn't mean to. Intent is irrelevant. Damien's voice cracks. My son is dead. My boy is, he stops. Breathes. When he speaks again, his voice is stone. I exile you from the Crescent Moon Pack. You have until dawn to leave our territory. If you return, we will execute you on sight. Do you understand? She understands. She understands that she's 17 and alone, and that no other pack will take her because word will spread. Understands that she'll have to hide among humans, suppressing her wolf, pretending to be something she's not just to survive. Understands that this moment will define every moment that comes after. I understand, she whispers. The dream fractures. Images flash like lightning. Running through darkness, her few possessions in a backpack. Sleeping in bus stations, gas station bathrooms, anywhere she can find. Taking jobs that pay cash. Cleaning houses. Waiting tables. Anything that doesn't ask questions. Meeting James at the diner where she worked. Human James with his kind smile and easy laugh. James who didn't know about wolves or powers or the silver flame burning in her veins. James who made her feel normal for 6 beautiful months. James who gave her Theo, even if he never knew it. James who died in a car accident 3 weeks before Theo was born, leaving her pregnant and alone and grieving a man who'd never known what she really was. The dream shifts again. She's holding newborn Theo in a hospital room, staring at his perfect, wrinkled face, and she's making him promises. I'll keep you safe. I'll never let anyone hurt you. I'll never let the power touch you. But she sees it even then. The faint silver shimmer in his infant eyes when he cries. The way his tiny hands heat when he's angry. He's not fully human. He's hers. Elena jerks awake, gasping. The cabin swims into focus. Morning light filters through the windows, pale and clean. The fire has burned down to embers. Theo is still asleep by the hearth, curled beneath the blanket like a small hibernating animal. And Zane is sitting exactly where he was when she fell asleep, watching the door like a sentinel. He glances at her. Nightmares. Elena sits up slowly, wincing as her ribs protest. Memories. Worse. Sometimes. She pushes hair out of her face. Her body is one massive ache, but the sharp edges of pain have dulled. The painkillers, probably. Or just the mercy of a few hours rest. How long was I out? 6 hours. It's barely past dawn. Zane stands, stretching, and Elena notices he's still fully dressed, still alert. You didn't shift in your sleep. That's good. I don't shift anymore. The words are automatic. Because you're afraid you won't be able to shift back. It's not a question. Or because you're afraid of what the wolf will do. Elena's joy tightens. Both. Zane moves to the kitchen area, pulling down mugs, starting coffee. His movements are tired but practiced. When's the last time you let your wolf out? For years. 3 months. 16 days. He pauses. Looks at her. That's incredibly specific. It was the night I found out I was pregnant with Theo. Elena's voice is flat. I shifted to run off the panic, and the wolf, she didn't want to come back. She wanted to keep running. Keep hunting. Keep being free. It took me 2 days to regain control and force the shift back. 2 days where I was purely animal, purely instinct. When I finally remembered being human, I was 70 miles from where I started, covered in blood from something I'd killed and eaten raw. Zane's expression doesn't change, but something in his eyes sharpens. And you decided never again. I decided, Elena says, that I couldn't risk it. Not with a baby depending on me. Not when I might shift and never come back, leaving Theo alone in the world. So you've been suppressing your wolf for over 4 years. Zane pours coffee, brings her a mug. Elena, that's not sustainable. The wolf is part of you. Denying it doesn't make it go away, it just makes it angrier. More desperate. I know. She takes the coffee. It's strong, bitter, exactly what she needs. But what's the alternative? Risk shifting and abandoning my son? Risk losing control again and hurting someone else. The alternative, Zane says quietly, is learning control. Real control. Not suppression. Not denial. Actually mastering your power and your wolf, so you're not constantly at war with yourself. Elena laughs. It's a harsh sound. I tried that. Spent my whole childhood trying. Every pack elder, every trainer, every alpha who thought they could help, none of it worked. The silver flame doesn't respond to their methods. It doesn't care about breathing exercises or meditation or visualization. It just burns. Because you're trying to control it like packfire. Zane sits across from her. But you're not packfire, Elena. You're silver flame. You're descended from the thorn line, from one of the original bloodlines that existed before packs, before territories, before any of the structures the modern wolf world is built on. Your power doesn't follow their rules because it was never meant to. Then what rules does it follow? That's what I want to teach you. His eyes hold hers. If you'll let me. Elena wants to say no. Wants to keep running, keep hiding, keep pretending she can survive on fear and desperation alone. But she looks at Theo sleeping by the fire, and she remembers how the silver flame erupted in him last night. Remembers his small body convulsing with power he couldn't control, couldn't understand. If she doesn't learn, how can she teach him? If she doesn't master this, how can she protect him when it wakes in him again? Why do you care? The question comes out rawer than she intends. You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Why risk everything to help a random exile and her son? Zane is quiet for a long moment. Then, because I see my sister in your son. I see the same fear, the same confusion, the same desperate need for someone to tell them they're not broken. His voice drops. And I see myself in you. The person who would burn the world to keep their family safe. Who would fight and kill and die before letting anyone hurt what's theirs. I'm not a killer. You killed Connor. The name lands like a fist. Elena's hands tighten around the mug. That was an accident. But you'd do it again if you had to. Zane's gaze is steady. If someone threatened Theo, if someone tried to take him, hurt him, use him, you'd unleash every ounce of silver flame you possess and damn the consequences. Wouldn't you? Elena doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. They both know the truth. That's not weakness, Zane says. That's love. Fierce, uncompromising love. And it's the most dangerous force in the world when properly channeled. You sound like you're speaking from experience. I killed 3 council members for a list of names. His voice is matter-of-fact. Tracked them down over 6 weeks. Made it look like accidents at first, but the last one I wanted him to know. Wanted him to understand why he was dying. So I told him about Lyra. About what they did to her. And then I made it hurt. Elena's breath catches. Zane. I'm not a good man, Elena. He meets her eyes. I'm a man who lost everything and decided that meant he had nothing left to lose. I'm a weapon pointed at the council, and I won't stop until every person responsible for my sister's death is in the ground. That's who I am. That's what I've become. But you helped the others on the list. Save them. Because they deserve saving. Something flickers in his expression. Because maybe if I can keep them safe, it'll balance the scales somehow. Maybe all the blood on my hands will mean something if I can prevent more blood from being spilled. That's not how it works. Redemption doesn't. I don't want redemption. Zane's voice hardens. I want revenge. But I also want those kids to have what Lyra never got, a chance to grow up free. A chance to master their power instead of being destroyed by it. So that's what I'm doing. Hunting council members at night. Protecting bloodline wolves during the day. Until one of those things kills me. Elena stares at him. At this broken alpha who's chosen violence and protection in equal measure. who's killed and saved and doesn't seem to see a contradiction. You're going to burn out, she says softly. Probably. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe. He shrugs. But not today. Today, I'm going to teach you how to call the silver flame without it consuming you. How to shift without losing yourself. How to be what you were meant to be instead of what fear has made you. And if I can't learn, then we'll figure something else out. Zane stands, moves to check on Theo. The boy is stirring, small sounds emerging from his blanket cocoon. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. You're stronger than you know, Elena. You've survived 4 years of suppression that would have driven most wolves insane. You've raised a son alone, kept him safe, kept him hidden. You've already done the impossible. Learning to control your power is just the next step. Theo's eyes open. He blinks in the morning light, confused, then sees Elena and smiles. Mommy. The word breaks something in her chest. Hey, baby. She tries to stand, but her ribs make her gasp. Zane scoops Theo up before she can protest. The boy doesn't fight it, just looks at the alpha with curious brown eyes. You're still here, Theo observes. I am. Are you going to stay? Zane glances at Elena. Something passes between them. Understanding. Possibility. If your mom will let me, Zane says carefully. Theo looks at Elena. Can he stay, Mommy? He seems nice. And he has a good face. A good face. Elena can't help the small smile. Yeah. Not scary. Well, a little scary. But good scary. Like a superhero scary. Zane's expression does something complicated. I'm not a superhero, kid. That's what all superheroes say. Theo's logic is unassailable. He turns back to Elena. So can he? Elena looks at her son. At Zane holding him with such careful gentleness. At the cabin with its protection runes and warmth. At the possibility of maybe, just maybe, not being alone anymore. He can stay, she says. For now. Yay! Theo squirms, and Zane sets him down. The boy immediately runs to Elena, throwing small arms around her neck with enough force to make her wince. We're going to be okay, Mommy. I know we are. Elena holds him close, breathing in his little boy's smell of sleep and innocence. Over his head, her eyes meet Zane's. The alpha nods once. A promise. And Elena lets herself hope, just for a moment, that her son might be right. 3 days pass in the cabin. 3 days of healing. Learning. Slowly, carefully beginning to trust. Zane teaches Elena breathing techniques that actually work for Silver Flame. Not the pack methods designed for common fire. These are older, drawn from texts he's collected over years of research. Techniques designed for bloodline gifts, for powers that follow rules written before werewolves organized into packs and territories. The Silver Flame isn't pack magic, he explains on the second day, watching as Elena holds a small sphere of light between her palms. It's older. Primal. It responds to emotion, to will, to the raw force of your spirit. You can't dominate it. You have to dance with it. Dance. Elena's voice is strained. The sphere flickers. You make it sound romantic. Isn't it? You're partnering with power itself. Learning its rhythms. Letting it learn yours. Zane circles her, watching. You're fighting it. I can see it in your shoulders. You're trying to contain it, control it, keep it small and manageable. Because when I don't, people die. No. When you panic and lose control, the flame reacts to your fear. But fear and control aren't the same thing. Control is. He pauses, searching for words. It's like holding water. If you squeeze too tight, it escapes through your fingers. If you're too loose, it spills everywhere. But if you cup your hands just right, if you move with the water instead of against it, you can carry it anywhere. Elena wants to argue. But the sphere in her hands is steady now, responding to the shift in her thinking. She lets it grow. Lets it pulse with her heartbeat. There, Zane says softly. That's it. You're not fighting it anymore. She's not. For the first time in years, the Silver Flame feels like an extension of her will rather than a barely leashed monster. Theo watches from his spot by the fire, where he's been drawing on paper Zane provided. He's drawn wolves. Silver wolves with flames for eyes. A small boy standing between a woman and a man, all three surrounded by protective symbols. Family. He's drawing family. On the third night, Zane announces they're going somewhere. Where? Elena's instincts flare immediately. The cabin is safe. We don't need to. There's a place I want to show you. Zane is already gathering supplies. It's important. And it's time. Time for what? He doesn't answer. Just looks at her with those ancient eyes, and Elena knows he's not going to explain until they arrive. They leave at dusk. Theo rides on Zane's shoulders, chattering about the stars beginning to emerge, about how the forest sounds different at night, about whether they'll see any animals. Zane answers each question with surprising patience, pointing out constellations, explaining how wolves navigate by scent and sound rather than sight. Elena follows, her ribs mostly healed now, her body remembering how to move through wilderness without fear. The forest grows denser, older. The trees here are massive, their trunks wide as houses, their branches creating a canopy so thick that moonlight barely penetrates. Moss glows faintly phosphorescent in the darkness. The air itself feels heavy with age. Where are we? Elena whispers. The Thornawood. Zane's voice is reverent. The original forest where your bloodline began. Before packs. Before territories. Before any of the modern structures existed. Elena's breath catches. That's a myth. The Thornawood was destroyed centuries ago. Hidden, Zane corrects. Not destroyed. The elders wove concealment spells around it, made people forget it existed. But it's real, Elena. And it's yours. They emerge into a clearing. No, not a clearing. A sacred grove. Ancient stones rise in a circle, each one carved with symbols that glow silver in the moonlight. At the center is an altar, a massive slab of black rock veined with silver. And beyond the altar, growing from the earth itself, is a tree unlike any Elena has ever seen. Its bark is silver. Its leaves are flames that don't consume. Its roots spread across the grove floor, pulsing with light that matches the rhythm of Elena's heartbeat. The thorn tree, Zane says quietly. The source of your bloodline's power. Every generation, one wolf carries the full strength of the flame. The rest have echoes, shadows. But the true bearer, they're tied to this tree. To its life. Its power. Elena steps forward, drawn by something she can't name. The silver flame in her veins is singing, reaching toward the tree like greeting-like. Every step closer makes her power burn brighter, warmer, more alive. The last true bearer was your great-grandmother, Zane continues. She died 30 years ago, and the power went dormant. The council thought the bloodline was broken. Thought the flame was extinct. But it wasn't. Elena's hand reaches toward the tree, stops just short of touching the silver bark. It was waiting. For you. She turns, looks at him. How do you know all this? Because I spent 5 years researching every bloodline on that list. Zane sets Theo down gently. The boy immediately runs to examine the stones, his child's curiosity unafraid of ancient power. I needed to understand what they were, why the council wanted them. And what I found, he stops. Breathes. There are prophecies, Elena. Old ones. Written before packs existed, before alphas ruled, before any of the current order was established. Prophecies about what? About a time when the old powers would wake again. When bloodline bearers would emerge across the territories, children born with gifts their parents didn't possess, abilities no one had seen in centuries. The prophecies called it the awakening. Elena's skin prickles. And they said the awakening would herald a great war. That the old families would rise against the pack system. That territory lines would shatter and wolves would have to choose, cling to the current order or embrace the chaos of rebirth. That's insane. That's already happening. Zane's voice is grim. Why do you think the council is so desperate to control bloodline wolves? They feel it coming. The territories are already fracturing. Alphas are challenging each other more frequently. Ancient grudges are resurfacing. The system is collapsing, and everyone knows it. Elena's mind reels. So what, I'm supposed to be part of some grand destiny? Some prophesied warrior who? You're supposed to survive. Zane moves closer. That's all. Survive, master your power, protect your son. But the prophecies mention the silver flame specifically. They call it the first flame. The fire that burns away corruption. The light that reveals truth. More metaphysical nonsense. Maybe. He tilts his head. Touch the tree. What? Touch it. See what happens. Elena looks at the thorn tree. At its silver bark and flame leaves, and the power pulsing from its ancient wood. Every instinct screams that this is dangerous, that she shouldn't, that she's not ready. But when has she ever been ready? She reaches out. Her palm meets the bark. The world explodes into light. Elena gasps as power floods her system. Not painful, overwhelming. Like trying to drink from a waterfall, like every cell in her body suddenly remembering what it was made for. The silver flame in her veins ignites fully, and for a moment she's not Elena Thorne, exile and single mother. She's part of something vast and ancient. She sees the tree's history. Sees her great-grandmother standing here decades ago, receiving the flame. Sees generations before that, an unbroken line of women standing in this exact spot, accepting the burden and gift of the silver fire. She sees the first thorn. A woman whose name has been lost to time, who stood before this tree when it was just a sapling, who spoke words in a language Elena doesn't know but somehow understands. Let this flame burn true. Let it light the dark. Let it consume what must be destroyed and spare what deserves mercy. Let it pass through my blood, my bone, my spirit, until the world no longer needs its fire. Elena sees the awakening through the tree's memory. Sees children being born across the territories with gifts that shouldn't exist. Sees the council's fear crystallizing into action. Sees the list Zane stole and the 3 deaths he caused. She sees herself through the tree's perception. Not as broken. Not as dangerous. As necessary. The vision shifts. Future, maybe, or possibility. She sees Theo grown, standing in this same grove, his hands wreathed in silver flames stronger than hers. She sees other figures beside him, children with storm-dark eyes, with earth-brown skin that shifts to bark, with voices that command wind and water. The bloodline wolves. United. Powerful. Free. And she sees fire sweeping across territories. Sees packlands burning. Sees the old order crumbling under the weight of its own corruption. Sees herself at the center of it all, silver flame blazing from her hands, her voice speaking words that shake mountains. No more. Elena jerks back, breaking contact with the tree. She's gasping, shaking, tears streaming down her face. Zane catches her before she falls. Easy. Easy. I've got you. What was that? Her voice is broken. What did I just see? The tree's memory. Its vision. Zane holds her steady. The thorn tree doesn't just give power, it shows truth. Past and future, woven together. I saw war. I saw everything burning. You saw possibility. His grip tightens. Not certainty. The future isn't written, Elena. What you saw is what could happen if certain choices are made. But you get to choose. We all do. The tree thinks I'm going to start a war. The tree thinks you have the power to change everything. Zane's voice is intense. Whether that change is peaceful or violent, constructive or destructive, that's up to you. Up to all of us. Elena looks at Theo, who's still examining the stones, oblivious to his mother's revelation. He was there. In the vision. He was grown and powerful and... He'll be okay. Zane follows her gaze. You'll teach him. I'll help. And when the time comes, he'll make his own choices. I don't want this. The words are raw. I don't want to be prophesied. I don't want to be important. I just want to keep my son safe. I know. Zane's voice is gentle. But the tree chose you anyway. Just like it chose your great-grandmother. Just like it chose every bearer before you. You can deny it, run from it, pretend it doesn't exist. But the silver flame is yours now, fully and completely. And with it comes responsibility. Elena wants to scream. wants to reject this destiny, this burden, this impossible weight. But the silver flame in her veins is steady now. Strong. No longer a barely controlled weapon, but an extension of her will. And she realizes, with a clarity that's almost painful, that she's been denying this part of herself for so long. Running from her power because someone else told her it made her a monster. Hiding because she believed she was too dangerous to exist in the light. But the tree shows her different. The tree shows her potential. "What do I do?" she whispers. "For now, go home. Rest. Practice." Zane helps her to her feet. "Master your power fully. Teach Theo when his gift wakes again. And wait." Wait for what? For the council to show their hand. His expression hardens. They know about the awakening. They're terrified of it. Eventually, they'll make a move against the bloodline wolves. And when they do, we fight. We survive. Zane corrects. Fighting might be part of that, but survival is the goal. Theo runs over, holding a small stone he found. It's silver-veined, warm to the touch. "Look, it's glowing." Elena takes it, sees her own power reflected in the stone's surface. "It's beautiful, baby. Can I keep it?" She looks at Zane, who nods. "Keep it. It's yours." They leave the grove as moon rises higher. Elena feels different. Heavier and lighter at once, burdened with knowledge but freed from years of self-imposed limits. The silver flame no longer feels like a curse. It feels like possibility. And for the first time since Connor burned and Damien exiled her, and the world decided she was too dangerous to exist, Elena Thorne lets herself believe that maybe, just maybe, she might be exactly dangerous enough. The attack comes on the 7th day. Elena's in the clearing behind the cabin, practicing with Zane. The silver flame dances between her hands, controlled now, responsive. She can shape it, direct it, call it forth, and dismiss it without fear. The tree's blessing, combined with Zane's teaching, has unlocked something fundamental in her understanding. Theo watches from the cabin's back porch, his own small hands occasionally sparking silver when he gets excited. It's the most peaceful Elena has felt in years. Which is, of course, when everything goes to hell. The first sign is the birds going silent. Zane notices immediately, his head snapping toward the tree line. "Get Theo inside. Now." Elena doesn't question. The flame dies in her hands as she sprints for the porch, scoops up Theo, his protest cut short by the look on her face, and carries him through the back door. "What's happening?" Theo's eyes are wide. "Just stay quiet, baby. Stay." The front door explodes inward. Not kicked. Not broken. Exploded, as if something massive hit it with enough force to turn solid wood into splinters. 5 wolves pour through the gap. Not shifted, human-formed, but with wolf eyes, wolf power radiating from their skin. Elena recognizes the signature immediately. Crescent Moon Pack. Damien enters last. Slower. Deliberate. His amber eyes sweep the cabin, taking in every detail, before landing on Elena with the weight of judgment. "Hello, Elena." She pushes Theo behind her, silver flame already crackling to life in her palms. "Get out. You were always shit at following orders." Damien steps over the destroyed door like it's nothing. 3 years, Elena. 3 years you've been hiding, and you really thought we wouldn't find you. How? Does it matter? He gestures to his wolves, who spread out, surrounding her. "You killed my son. Did you think I'd just let that go? Let you live happily ever after while Connor rots in the ground? It was an accident. And yet he's still dead." Damien's voice is flat. "Your intentions don't matter. The result is the same." Movement outside. Zane's voice rises, sharp with warning, followed by sounds of conflict. More wolves. Damien brought an entire hunting party. Elena's heart hammers. She can fight, maybe take down 2 or 3, but not 5. Not while protecting Theo. Not. "We're not here to kill you," Damien says, and something in his tone makes her pause. "Not yet. The council wants you alive." "What? You didn't know?" Damien's smile is cold. "The Alpha Council has taken an interest in bloodline wolves. They're offering substantial rewards for any we deliver unharmed." And you, Elena, you and your abomination son, you're worth quite a lot. The word hits like a physical blow. Don't call him that. What else would you call it? Damien gestures at Theo, who's cowering behind his mother. A 4-year-old with active silver flame? That's not natural. That's not right. It's exactly the kind of corruption the council wants to study. To understand. To control. I won't let you touch him. You don't have a choice. The attack is coordinated. 3 wolves lunge simultaneously, one at her, 2 circling to grab Theo. Elena's response is instinctive. The silver flame explodes outward in a wave that catches all 3 mid-leap. But she's too focused on protecting Theo to notice the 4th wolf coming from her blind side. He tackles her, driving her into the wall hard enough to crack plaster. Air explodes from her lungs. The flame flickers, nearly dies. And Theo screams. Not fear. Fury. Silver light erupts from the boy like a supernova. Every wolf in the room staggers back, shielding their eyes against the brilliance. The wolf holding Elena releases her with a yelp as his hands blister. Don't hurt my mommy. Theo's voice shouldn't carry that much power. Shouldn't shake the cabin's foundations or make the air itself vibrate. But it does. Because Theo isn't just manifesting flame. He's manifesting command. The alpha voice. Combined with silver flame. Elena has never seen anything like it. Never even heard of such a combination. Alphas are born, not made, their authority a genetic gift. But Theo is doing something different. He's using the silver flame to amplify his will, to make his voice literally compel obedience. And every wolf in the room feels it. They freeze. Can't move. Can't attack. Can only stand there, locked in place by a 4-year-old's fury. Damien's face goes white. That's impossible. He's not, he can't. Get away from my mom, Theo says, and his voice is still wrong, still layered with power no child should possess. Get away or I'll make you burn. I'll make you all burn. Elena forces herself to her feet, moving on pure adrenaline. She scoops Theo into her arms, and the moment she touches him, the power cuts off like a switch. The wolves collapse, gasping. Outside, the sounds of fighting have stopped. The door, the destroyed front entrance, fills with a figure. Zane. He's bleeding from a cut over his eye, his knuckles torn, but he's standing. Behind him, Elena can see bodies. Unconscious, she hopes. Not dead. Zane's eyes take in the scene instantly. We need to go. Now. The council, Damien's voice is hoarse. You can't run from the council. They'll hunt you to the ends of. Let them try. Zane's voice is pure alpha power. You tell the council that the bloodline wolves are under my protection now. All of them. And anyone who tries to take them will answer to me. You're one wolf against the entire council structure. I've killed 3 council members already. Zane's smile is terrifying. Want to see how many more I can manage? Damien's jaw works. For a moment, Elena thinks he might attack anyway, throw his wolves against Zane in a desperate bid to complete his mission. Then he sees Theo. Sees the way the boy's eyes are still glowing faintly silver. Sees the burn marks on his wolf's hands from where Theo's power touched him. And something in Damien's expression shifts. Not warmth. Not forgiveness. Fear. This isn't over, he says finally. It never is. Zane doesn't move from the doorway. Now leave. While you still can. The crescent moon wolves retreat. Slowly, keeping eyes on Elena and Zane, but they retreat. Damien is last, pausing at the threshold. The council won't stop, he says. They're terrified of what's coming. The awakening, the prophecies, all of it. They'll do anything to maintain control. And wolves like you, his eyes fix on Elena. You're the greatest threat they've ever faced. Good, Elena hears herself say. Maybe they should be afraid. Damien leaves. The silence that follows is deafening. Then Theo starts crying. Not the powerful, commanding sobs from moments ago. Just normal 4-year-old tears, overwhelmed and scared and not understanding what just happened. Mommy, I didn't mean to. I just got so mad when they hurt you, and something inside me, I didn't mean. Shoo, baby. It's okay. Elena holds him tight, rocking him. You protected us. You were so brave. Over Theo's head, her eyes meet Zane's. His expression is complicated, concerned and awed in equal measure. That shouldn't be possible, he says quietly. I know. Alpha Command and Silver Flame don't combine. They're separate gifts, separate bloodlines. There's no recorded instance of. I know. Elena's voice is tight. Zane, what is he? I don't know. For the first time since they met, Zane sounds uncertain. But the council is going to want him even more now. And Damien's right, they won't stop. We can't stay here. Where do we go? Somewhere they can't follow. Zane moves to the cabin's interior, already pulling supplies, weapons, anything useful. Somewhere outside their reach. There's nowhere outside the council's reach. There's one place. Zane stops, looks at her. The Thornwood. The grove where the tree grows. The council's power doesn't extend there. It's older than they are, protected by magic they can't break. We can't live in a forest grove. We can't live anywhere else. His voice is firm. Elena, Damien will report back to the council. They'll send hunters. Professional ones, not just angry pack members. We have maybe 24 hours before this becomes a full-scale manhunt. Elena looks around the cabin. At the destroyed door, the scorch marks on the walls from Theo's power, the blood on the floor. 7 days of peace, gone in minutes. I'm so tired of running, she whispers. I know. Zane's hand touches her shoulder, gentle. But this time, we're not just running. We're preparing. Learning. Getting ready for the fight we know is coming. And Theo. We teach him control. Both of his gifts. Zane crouches down, meeting Theo's tear-stained eyes. Hey, kid. You okay? Theo nods, sniffling. I scared them away. You did. That was some impressive power. But Mommy says I shouldn't use power. She says it's dangerous. Power is dangerous, Zane agrees. But so is not knowing how to use it when you need to. Your mom was trying to protect you. But now we're going to teach you how to protect yourself. Both of you. Deal? Theo looks at Elena. She nods, even though every instinct screams that this is wrong, that 4-year-olds shouldn't be learning to weaponize themselves, that childhood should be innocent and safe and free. But Theo's childhood was never going to be those things. Not with the blood he carries. Deal, Theo says softly. They pack fast. Elena takes clothes, supplies, Theo's drawings, the small stone from the grove. Zane gathers weapons, books, the research he's compiled on bloodlines. Everything fits into 3 backpacks. 7 days of safety condensed into portable weight. Before they leave, Zane pauses at the threshold. Places his palm against the doorframe. The protection runes flare once, bright and final, then fade to nothing. What are you doing? Releasing the wards. His voice is quiet. Making sure the cabin can't be tracked back to us. It'll confuse the trail, buy us a few extra hours. This was your safe place. I have a new safe place to protect now. He looks at her, at Theo. You too. That's all that matters. They slip into the forest as night falls. The journey to the Thornwood takes hours, moving carefully to avoid leaving traces. Zane shows Theo how to step on rocks instead of soft earth, how to break branches in ways that look natural rather than purposeful. The boy takes to it with the adaptability of childhood. Makes it a game. We're spies, right, Zane? Secret agents? Something like that. And the bad guys are trying to find us, but we're too smart. Exactly. Elena watches them together. Watches how Zane's careful patience draws Theo out of his fear, how the boy's innocent questions make the alpha's expression soften in ways she suspects he doesn't realize. They're becoming a unit. A family. The thought terrifies her almost as much as it comforts. The Thornwood welcomes them like coming home. The moment they cross into the ancient forest, Elena feels the shift. The air is different here. Thicker. Charged with old magic that makes her silver flames sing in recognition. The grove appears through the trees, unchanged from their last visit. The thorn tree stands at its center, silver bark glowing faintly in the moonlight, flame leaves dancing in a wind Elena can't feel. We can shelter here, she asks. The grove will protect itself. Zane sets down his pack. No one can enter without the tree's permission. Not council, not hunters, not even other bloodline wolves. This is your ancestral ground, Elena. It answers to you. She steps forward, touching the tree again. This time there's no overwhelming vision, just a sense of welcome. Of safety. The tree's consciousness, if it has such a thing, recognizes her. Accepts her return. And with that acceptance comes knowledge. Elena gasps as information floods her mind. Not visions this time, but understanding. She knows suddenly how to shape the grove's magic, how to strengthen its wards, how to create shelter and warmth and protection without leaving the sacred space. She knows because every bearer before her knew. And the tree has been waiting to share that knowledge with her. Elena. Zane's voice is concerned. I'm okay. She turns, and her hands move almost without conscious thought. The silver flame flows from her palms, but instead of destructive fire, it becomes light. Solid light that shapes itself into walls, a roof, doorways. Within minutes, a structure stands at the grove's edge. Not a cabin, something more organic, more alive. The walls shimmer silver, translucent but strong. Inside, the ground is soft as bedding, warm without fire. A home made of pure magic. Theo's eyes are enormous. Mommy, that's so cool. Elena stares at her own hands. I didn't know I could do that. The tree taught you. Zane's voice holds awe. Elena, do you understand what this means? You're not just a flame bearer. You're a creator. You can shape reality with your power. I shaped a shelter. That's not. Today you shaped a shelter. Tomorrow? Who knows? He moves into the structure, testing the walls. They hold firm under his touch. This is incredible. They settle in for the night. The shelter's warmth is perfect, neither too hot nor cold. Theo falls asleep almost immediately, exhausted by the day's terrors and magic. Elena sits with Zane outside, watching the stars through the tree's flame leaves. They'll keep coming, she says quietly. Yes. We can't hide here forever. No. So what's the plan? Zane is quiet for a long moment. We find the others. The bloodline wolves I warned before you. We unite them, teach them, build something the council can't destroy. An army. A family. His voice is firm. A community of people who understand what it's like to carry power no one else wants to acknowledge. Who've been hunted, exiled, used. We give them what the packs never did, acceptance. Protection. Choice. The council won't let that happen. Then we fight. Zane looks at her. Not because we want to, but because sometimes survival requires claws. Elena thinks about Theo's burst of power today. About the way he combined gifts that shouldn't combine. About the prophecies and visions and the future the tree showed her. I don't want him growing up in a war. I don't either. Zane's expression softens. But I'd rather he grow up fighting for freedom than dying in captivity. Wouldn't you? She would. She hates it, but she would. How do we find the others? I kept records. Names, locations, everything I learned while tracking the list. Zane pulls a worn notebook from his pack. 17 bloodline wolves scattered across 8 territories. Most are young, like Theo. A few are adults who manifested late. All of them are vulnerable. 17 wolves against the entire council structure. 18, counting me. He smiles without humor. And quality over quantity. One bloodline wolf is worth 10 ordinary wolves in combat. Properly trained, properly unified, we could hold our own. Or we could die trying. Also possible. Zane doesn't deny it. But at least we'd die free. Die fighting. Not die slowly in a council laboratory while they dissect our gifts and use them to cement their power. Elena looks at the thorn tree. At its ancient strength, its patient endurance through centuries of change and conflict. The tree showed me war, she says. Showed me everything burning. You told me that was possibility, not certainty. What if I make it certain? What if trying to protect Theo is what starts the war? Then we'll face it together. Zane's hand finds hers. The touch is warm, solid, grounding. Elena, you've been alone for so long. carrying everything yourself. But you don't have to anymore. I'm here. And I'm not leaving. She wants to believe him. Wants to trust that this alpha who's killed for justice and saved for redemption won't abandon her when things get truly dangerous. Wants to trust herself not to burn him the way she's burned everything else she's tried to hold. Why me? The question escapes before she can stop it. Why us? You could have warned me and moved on, like the others. Why stay? Zane is quiet. His thumb traces circles on the back of her hand, absent and intimate at once. Because, he says finally, when I found you in that river, pulling your son from the water with broken ribs and sheer will, I saw Lyra. Saw the person she could have become if someone had fought for her. Saw the mother she might have had if things were different. His voice drops. And when you looked at me with silver flame in your hands and promised to burn me to ash if I hurt Theo, I saw myself. The person I was before the council destroyed everything. Before anger and grief made me into a weapon. He meets her eyes. You remind me that there's something worth fighting for beyond revenge. That protection and love can coexist with power. That maybe, just maybe, I don't have to burn the world to make things right. Elena's breath catches. Zane. I'm not asking for anything, he says quickly. I know you don't trust easily. Know you've been hurt, betrayed, told you're dangerous your whole life. I'm saying I see you, Elena. All of you. The power and the fear and the fierce love you have for your son. And I'm not going anywhere. The words settle between them like a promise. Like a vow. Elena doesn't know how to respond. Doesn't know how to explain that she's been alone so long that trust feels like a language she's forgotten how to speak. So instead, she squeezes his hand. Once. Firm. A message, I hear you. I'm trying. It's enough. They sit in silence, watching the stars, while Theo sleeps safely in their magical shelter and the thorn tree stands guard over them all. And for this moment, this brief pocket of peace, Elena lets herself believe they might actually survive what's coming. The grove becomes their world. Days blend together in a rhythm of training, teaching, and slowly learning to be something other than alone. Elena practices with the silver flame until she can hold it for hours without strain, until she can shape it into tools, shields, weapons. Until it feels less like borrowed power and more like breathing. Zane teaches Theo with surprising gentleness. Shows him how to call the alpha command without shouting, how to let it flow naturally instead of exploding outward. Shows him how to combine it with small sparks of flame, creating light sculptures that make the boy giggle with delight. Control is like this, Zane explains one afternoon, creating shapes from sticks and stones. You don't squeeze. You guide. You ask instead of demand. But when the bad men came, I had to demand, Theo says seriously. I had to make them stop hurting Mommy. You did exactly right. Zane's voice is firm. When someone you love is in danger, you use whatever power you have. But for everything else, for daily life, for learning, you practice gentleness first. Save the demanding for emergencies. How do I know it's an emergency? Trust your heart. It'll tell you. Theo considers this with 4-year-old gravity. Then nods. Okay. I trust my heart. Elena watches from across the grove, where she's been coaxing silver flame into delicate patterns. Something in her chest tightens at the scene. At Zane's patient instruction. At Theo's growing confidence. At the way they look like father and son. The thought should terrify her. Should make her pull back, reinforce walls, remember that she and Zane are temporary allies at best. But it doesn't. Instead, it makes her wonder what it would be like to stop running. To let someone share the weight she's been carrying alone. That night, after Theo is asleep, Zane finds her sitting outside the shelter. The thorn tree's flame leaves cast dancing shadows across the grove. Can't sleep, he asks. Too much on my mind. He settles beside her, close but not touching. Want to talk about it? Elena hesitates. Then, how do you do it? Stay calm when everything's falling apart. I don't. Zane's laugh is soft. I just hide it better than most. Inside, He stops. Breathes. I'm terrified most of the time, Elena. Terrified I'll fail another person I care about. Terrified the council will find us before we're ready. Terrified that all of this, the training, the planning, the hope, will amount to nothing. His honesty catches her off guard. You don't seem scared. Years of practice. He looks at her. Alpha training teaches you to project confidence even when you're drowning. Especially when you're drowning. Because if the alpha breaks, the pack breaks with them. But you don't have a pack anymore. Don't I? His voice is gentle. I have you. I have Theo. Maybe it's not traditional, but it feels like pack to me. Elena's throat tightens. Zane, I don't know how to be someone's pack. I've been alone for so long I've forgotten how to. Then don't try to remember. He shifts closer, and now they are touching, shoulders pressed together. Just be yourself. That's all I'm asking. Just be Elena, brilliant, fierce, terrified, powerful Elena. The woman who jumped off a cliff for her son. Who pulled him from a river with broken ribs. Who's learning to shape reality with silver flame despite being told her whole life she was too dangerous to exist. You make me sound heroic. I'm just trying to survive. Survival is heroic. Zane's voice is intense. You think it's easy, staying alive when the world wants you dead? Raising a son alone? Mastering power that could kill you if you slip even once? Elena, you're the strongest person I've ever met. I'm not. You are. He takes her hand, and this time the touch lingers. His fingers lace through hers, warm and solid. And I'm going to keep telling you that until you believe it. Elena looks at their joined hands. At the way his thumb traces absent patterns on her skin. At the casual intimacy of the gesture, like they've done this 1,000 times before. Why do you care so much? Her voice is barely a whisper. Because someone should have cared about Lyra. Pain flickers across his face. Someone should have fought for her, protected her, told her she was worth more than what the council could use her for. And since I failed her, the least I can do is not fail anyone else. I'm not your redemption, Zane. I know. He meets her eyes. You're your own person. Your own story. But maybe we can help each other anyway. Maybe we can both learn to be something other than broken. The words hang between them. Elena thinks about all the reasons she should pull away. Should maintain distance. Should remember that trust has only ever led to betrayal, that opening her heart means giving people ammunition to destroy her. But she's so tired of being alone. So tired of carrying everything by herself. So tired of pretending she doesn't want exactly what Zane is offering. Partnership, protection, the chance to be seen and accepted despite the power burning in her veins. I'm scared, she admits. Of what? Of this. Of you. Of letting myself, she stops. Forces the words out. Of letting myself care about someone and then losing them. I can't, Zane, I can't survive that again. You won't lose me. You don't know that. The council could kill you. I could lose control and burn you. We could. Elena. He cups her face with his free hand, forcing her to look at him. Life is risk. Every moment, every breath, every connection. You can spend your whole life protecting yourself from pain, but then you're not really living. You're just existing. Existing kept me alive. I know. And I'm not asking you to stop being careful. He pauses. Searches for words. I'm asking you to let me in. Just a little. Just enough that you're not carrying everything alone anymore. And if I hurt you, then I'll heal. His smile is gentle. Elena, I've been hurt before. I'll probably be hurt again. But I'd rather risk pain than guarantee emptiness. Wouldn't you? She thinks about Theo sleeping in their magical shelter. About the 7 days in the cabin where she'd felt, for the first time in years, like maybe she wasn't completely alone. About the way Zane looks at her, not with fear of her power but with respect for it. I don't know how to do this, she whispers. Neither do I. He laughs softly. We'll figure it out together. Make mistakes. Stumble around. But we'll do it together, Elena. That's all I'm offering. Together instead of alone. She lets herself lean into him. Just slightly. Just enough that her head rests against his shoulder, that his arm slides around her waist, that for a moment she can pretend the world isn't trying to kill them. Tell me about Lyra, she says quietly. Not how she died. Who she was. What she loved. Zane is still for a long moment. Then, she loved storms. Would run outside the moment thunder started, dancing in the rain like it was music only she could hear. My parents used to scold her, tell her she'd catch cold, but she'd just laugh and spin faster. His voice softens with memory. She collected rocks. Not pretty ones, weird ones. Rocks with holes through them, rocks that looked like faces, rocks that felt warm even on cold days. She had hundreds of them, labeled with dates and locations, organized on shelves in her room. She sounds wonderful. She was. Pain threads through his words. She was bright and weird and so full of life. And the council took all of that away because they saw her power as more valuable than her personhood. Because to them, she was a tool. A resource. Nothing more. Elena's hand tightens on his. I'm sorry. Me too. He's quiet. Then, tell me about Theo's father. If you want to. It's Elena's turn to pause. To decide how much to share. His name was James, she says finally. Human. Kind. He made me laugh at a time when I'd forgotten how. We had 6 months together before he died, and he never knew what I was. Never knew about wolves or powers or any of it. Did you love him? I thought I did. Elena's voice is thoughtful. Looking back, I think I loved the escape he represented. The chance to be normal. But I don't know if I loved him, specifically. Does that make me terrible? It makes you honest. Zane's thumb traces circles on her side. And it makes you human. Or wolf. Whatever we're calling ourselves these days. She laughs, surprising herself. Wolves pretending to be human, pretending to be normal? Something like that. They fall into comfortable silence. The night deepens. Stars wheel overhead, and the thorn trees' flame leaves rustle in a wind only they seem to feel. Zane. Yeah, thank you. Elena's voice is barely audible. For finding us. For teaching us. For caring. His arm tightens around her. Thank you for letting me. They stay like that for hours. Not talking. Just existing together in the quiet dark, while the grove's ancient magic wraps around them like a blessing. And when Elena finally falls asleep against Zane's shoulder, for the first time in years, she doesn't dream of fire. She dreams of home. The messenger arrives on the 14th day. Elena is working with Theo near the grove's edge, teaching him to shape flame into letters when she feels it. A presence. Foreign but not hostile. Cautious. Zane is beside them in seconds, positioning himself between the unknown presence and Theo with predatory grace. A wolf emerges from the trees. Young, maybe 19, with nervous brown eyes and hands raised in universal surrender. Please, she says quickly. I'm not here to fight. I'm from the list. Zane's list. My name is Isla, I'm a storm singer, and I came because she swallows hard. Because they took my sister. Zane's expression doesn't change, but Elena sees his hands clench. Who took her? The council. 3 days ago. Hunters came to our safe house, said they had orders to collect all bloodline wolves for protective custody. My sister, Nora, she's only 12, she went with them because they said it was temporary. Said it was for her safety. But I don't believe them. I think. Isla's voice breaks. I think it's what you warned me about. The laboratories. The experiments. Elena's stomach drops. How did you find us? I didn't. I found the cabin first. It was destroyed, but there were traces, your scent, wolf tracks leading north. I followed them here. Isla looks at the grove with wide eyes. This place it's incredible. The magic here, Tell me about your sister. Zane's voice is hard. Everything. Where they took her, how many hunters, what they said. Isla provides details. A facility 300 miles south. 10 hunters, maybe more. They claim to be following Council Directive Alpha 7, which apparently means priority collection of high-value assets. With each word, Zane's expression grows darker. There are others, Isla finishes. At least 6 other bloodline wolves were taken from different locations. They're gathering us. Just like you said they would. How long ago did you say this happened? Elena asks. 3 days. And you came alone? I had no one else. Isla's eyes well with tears. My parents are dead. Nora is all I have. Please, I know you don't know me, but Zane said if we ever needed help, if the council came. I meant it. Zane's voice is firm. We'll get her back. We. Elena turns to him. Zane, we can't just storm a council facility. That's suicide. So we let them keep her? His eyes blaze. Let them do to Isla's sister what they did to Lyra? Let them experiment on a 12-year-old girl. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we need a plan. Information. We can't. We don't have time for perfect plans. Zane is already moving, gathering weapons from their supplies. Every hour we wait is another hour they're doing God knows what to those kids. We move now. Fast and hard. With what force? Elena gestures around the grove. It's you, me, and a traumatized storm singer. Against a council facility with professional hunters and who knows what kind of security. Then we even the odds. Zane pulls out his notebook, flipping to a marked page. There are 3 more bloodline wolves within 50 miles. If we can reach them, bring them here, we'll have a strike team. Or we'll lead the council straight to us. They already know we exist, Elena. Damien reported back. The attack on the cabin proved they're actively hunting us. Hiding isn't an option anymore. So fighting is? Yes. Zane's voice is absolute. Because if we don't fight now, if we don't draw a line and say no more, then we're just waiting for them to pick us off one by one. I won't do that. Not again. Elena looks at Isla. At the desperate hope in the young woman's eyes. At Theo, watching from the shelter entrance with the careful attention of a child who understands that important adult decisions are being made. She thinks about Nora. 12 years old. Probably terrified. Probably wondering why no one is coming to save her. She thinks about the laboratory where Lyra died. About the council's willingness to use children as weapons, as experiments, as disposable resources in their quest for control. And she makes a choice. We save her, Elena says. But we do it smart. We gather allies first. We plan. We don't just charge in and hope for the best. Relief floods Zane's face. Agreed. And Theo stays here. Protected by the Grove's magic. Mommy, no. This is not negotiable. Elena's voice is steel. Baby, you're too young. Too vulnerable. I need you safe. But what if you don't come back? Theo's eyes fill with tears. What if they hurt you and I'm here alone and... Elena moves to him, kneeling down. I will come back. I promise. Zane and we're going to help Isla's sister and the others. And then we're coming right back here. To you. Okay. You have to promise. Theo's voice is shaking. Not regular promise. Promise. It's their ritual. Started when he was 2 and she'd leave him with babysitters for work shifts. Promise meant sacred. Unbreakable. I promise, Elena says, and prays to every god she doesn't believe in that she can keep it. They leave within the hour. Isla guides them to the first bloodline wolf, a teen named Adrian, an ember caller with nervous energy and grateful eyes when Zane explains the situation. Then Reyna, a shadow walker in her 20s who's been hiding in abandoned buildings, half feral with isolation. Then Marcus. The same Marcus from Crescent Moon Pack. The one who followed Damien during the attack on the cabin. Elena recognizes him instantly when they arrive at the meeting point, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of a forgotten town. Her silver flame ignites immediately, defensive. What the hell is he doing here? She snarls. Marcus raises his hands, but his expression is complicated. Guilty. Elena, wait. Please. I need to talk to you. You tried to kidnap my son. I followed orders. His voice cracks. I followed Damien's orders because that's what wolves do. But after seeing what Theo did, after feeling his power, Marcus stops. Breathes. I went back to the pack. And I found something. Found what? Zane's voice is dangerous. Documents. hidden in Damien's office. Communications with the council. Marcus pulls out folded papers from his jacket, hands shaking. Damien's been working with them for months, feeding them information about bloodline wolves, helping them track and capture. In exchange, they promised him territory expansion and alpha promotion to the regional council. Elena's world tilts. He sold us out. He sold everyone out. Marcus's eyes are haunted. Isla's sister? The council knew where she was because Damien told them. Every safe house location, every bloodline wolf Zane warned, Damien's been reporting them all. He's the reason the council's been so effective at collecting wolves before they can organize. Zane goes very, very still. The kind of still that precedes violence. Show me the documents. Marcus does. Elena reads over Zane's shoulder, and each word is a knife. Damien's handwriting. Damien's signature. Proof that the Alpha who exiled her, who blamed her for his son's death, who claimed moral authority, proof that he's been betraying his own kind for power. There's more, Marcus says quietly. The facility where they're holding the bloodline wolves? Damien's going there tomorrow. Some kind of demonstration for regional alphas. The council wants to show off their assets, prove they have the situation under control. Damien's invited as a special guest. It's a trap. Elena's voice is flat. They're using the captured wolves as bait, waiting for us to attempt rescue so they can capture us too. Probably, Marcus agrees. But it's also an opportunity. If Damien's there, if the council's putting on a show, their security will be focused outward. On impressing the alphas, not on internal threats. You want us to infiltrate during the demonstration, Zane says slowly. I want to help you. Marcus's voice is fierce. I'm done following corrupt alphas. Done pretending the pack system isn't broken. If you're building something different, something better, I want to be part of it. How do we know you're not a spy? Elena demands. How do we know this isn't just another council trap? You don't. Marcus meets her eyes. You have to choose to trust me. Just like I'm choosing to trust you by showing you those documents, by betraying my alpha, by burning every bridge back to the life I knew. I'm here, Elena. All in. Either believe me or kill me, but don't leave those kids in that facility. Silence stretches taut. Zane and Elena exchange a look. A whole conversation in a glance, built on 14 days of learning each other's thoughts. If you betray us, Zane says finally, I will hunt you through every territory and make you beg for death before I grant it. Do you understand? I understand. Then welcome to the team. Zane's smile is sharp. Let's plan a prison break. They spend the next 6 hours strategizing. Marcus provides facility layouts from the documents, guard rotations, security measures, the cells where bloodline wolves are being held. Isla describes her sister's abilities, what she might be capable of if freed. Adrian and Reyna offer their own powers as tools. Elena sits slightly apart, watching. Thinking. You're quiet, Zane says, settling beside her during a planning break. Something feels wrong. She can't articulate it clearly. Just an instinct, a prickle at the base of her skull. This is too convenient. Marcus showing up with exactly the information we need, at exactly the right time. You think he's lying? I think the council is smart. Ruthless. They've been 3 steps ahead of us this whole time. Why would they suddenly make themselves vulnerable? Because they don't see us as a real threat yet. Zane's voice is grim. We're just an exile, a rogue alpha, and a handful of terrified kids. They think we're disorganized, desperate, easy to control. Or they want us to think that. Zane considers this. What's your instinct saying? Elena closes her eyes, reaches for the silver flame in her veins, the power connected to the thorn tree, to generations of bearers before her. The flame pulses, warm but agitated. Warning. We're walking into something bad, she says. But we don't have a choice. Those kids need us. We could wait. Gather more allies. Build our strength. While 12-year-olds suffer in a laboratory? Elena opens her eyes. No. We go. But we go carefully. With exit strategies and backup plans. And if it all goes wrong? Then we fight our way out. She stands, offering him a hand up. Together. His fingers lace through hers. Together. They finalize the plan. Tomorrow night, during the demonstration, half the team creates a distraction at the facility's main entrance. Raina's shadows, Adrian's fire, loud and obvious. While security responds to that threat, Elena, Zane, and Marcus slip in through a maintenance entrance and reach the holding cells. Free the bloodline wolves. Get them to the extraction point. Disappear before the council can organize a response. Simple. Clean. Absolutely nothing will go according to plan. Elena knows this in her bones. But they're out of options, out of time, and those kids can't wait. They return to the grove just before dawn. Theo is awake, has been all night, and throws himself at Elena with enough force to nearly knock her over. You came back. You promised, and you came back. Always, baby. She holds him tight. Always. But even as she says it, looking at Zane over Theo's head, seeing the grim determination in the alpha's eyes, Elena knows that promise is about to be tested. Because tomorrow night, they're going to war. And war doesn't care about promises. The facility rises from the earth like a monument to control. Concrete and steel, brutalist and cold, surrounded by walls that hum with electric current and wards that taste like ash on Elena's tongue. This is where they bring the different ones. The powerful ones. The wolves the council has deemed too valuable to kill, too dangerous to free. Elena crouches in the darkness with Zane and Marcus, watching security patterns, counting guards. Behind them, hidden in the forest, Raina, Adrian, and Isla wait for the signal. 3 minutes, Marcus whispers. The demonstration starts in 3 minutes. That's when we move. Elena's silver flame pulses beneath her skin, eager. Ready. She's spent the day preparing, channeling every technique Zane taught her, every lesson from the thorn tree. Tonight, she's not hiding her power. Tonight, she's weaponizing it. Lights blaze to life in the facility's courtyard. Through the fence, Elena can see them gathering, alphas from neighboring territories, council members in their formal regalia, and Damien. Standing proud like he's not a traitor. Like he's not the reason children are suffering. A door opens. Guards escort out a line of wolves. Children. Teenagers. All with that glazed look of the heavily sedated. Elena spots Nora immediately. Isla's description was perfect. 12 years old, dark hair, small for her age. She shuffles forward with the others, wrists bound with silver that burns even from this distance. They're drugged. Zane's voice is lethal. Can barely stand. Makes them easier to control. Marcus sounds sick. Easier to demonstrate their powers without risking rebellion. A council member steps forward, begins speaking. Elena can't hear the words from this distance, but she doesn't need to. She can see the way he gestures at the children. See the way the alphas lean forward with interest. They're being sold. Not literally, perhaps, but close enough. This is a demonstration of the council's control. A promise. Join us and you'll have access to this power. Oppose us and we'll use it against you. Now, Zane says. They move. Raina's shadows explode at the main gate, not real, just illusions, but terrifying enough. Screams rise. Guards rush toward the disturbance. Adrian sends fire arcing into the sky, a beacon impossible to ignore. Elena, Zane, and Marcus slip through the maintenance entrance Marcus identified. The wards here are weaker, designed to keep people out rather than in. Elena's silver flame dissolves them like paper. Inside, the facility is a maze of corridors. Fluorescent lights. The smell of disinfectant and fear. Marcus leads them deeper, following the layout he memorized. They pass laboratories. Through windows, Elena sees equipment that makes her stomach turn. Restraints. Needles. Machines designed to measure and extract and quantify power like it's a resource to be harvested. She thinks of Lyra dying in a place like this. Thinks of Theo if they'd succeeded in taking him. The silver flame burns hotter. They reach the holding area. Marcus's credentials, stolen from a guard during reconnaissance, open the door. Inside are cells. Not comfortable rooms, but cages, barely large enough to stand in. And in those cages are the bloodline wolves. Nora in one. A boy who can't be older than 10 in another. A teenager with storm-dark eyes. A young woman whose skin shimmers like scales. All of them drugged. All of them defeated. Get them out, Zane orders, already breaking locks with brutal efficiency. Fast. Elena moves to Nora's cell. The girl looks up with unfocused eyes, trying to understand if this is real or another test. Your sister sent us, Elena says gently. Isla. She's safe. She's waiting for you. We're getting you out. Something flickers in Nora's expression. Hope. The door opens. Elena helps the girl to her feet. Nora's legs barely hold her weight, but she's trying. Fighting through the drugs, fighting to stay conscious. Can you call the storm? Elena asks quietly. They drugged me so I can't. Try anyway. Nora closes her eyes. Concentrates. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the lights flicker. Thunder rumbles outside, distant but growing closer. That's it, Elena encourages. Keep going. Fight it. One by one, they free the bloodline wolves. 7 total. All young. All traumatized. All looking at Elena and Zane like they're not sure whether to trust this rescue or fear it's another council trick. This way, Marcus leads them toward the exit. We have maybe 2 minutes before someone notices. Alarms scream to life. Or not, he finishes grimly. Guards pour into the corridor. Not ordinary wolves, these are trained hunters, moving with coordinated precision. They don't attack immediately. Just surround. Block every exit. And Damien steps through their ranks. Elena. His voice is almost sad. I was hoping you'd fall for this. Her heart drops. It was a trap. Obviously. Damien gestures, and more hunters appear, cutting off their retreat. Did you really think we'd leave ourselves vulnerable? That we'd gather valuable assets in one place without proper security? You used children as bait. Zane's voice is arctic. I used resources strategically. Damien's eyes are cold. These bloodline wolves belong to the council now. They'll be trained, utilized, integrated into our power structure. Just as you will be, once we've broken that inconvenient streak of rebellion. We're not things to be owned, Elena says. No. You're weapons to be wielded. Damien signals. The hunters raise tranquilizer guns. The council has been patient. Given you chances to surrender peacefully. But that ends tonight. You'll come with us. Submit to evaluation and training. Or we'll take you by force and teach you compliance the hard way. And if we refuse? Zane's stance shifts, predatory. Then we'll kill everyone here except Elena and the boy. The council wants the silver flame bearer. The rest of you. Damien shrugs. Acceptable losses. Elena's silver flame ignites in her palms. You won't touch any of them. Elena, look around you. You're outnumbered, surrounded, and these children can barely stand. Be reasonable. Surrender. I'll ensure Theo is treated well. The council doesn't want to hurt him. They want to help him reach his potential. By turning him into a weapon. By teaching him control. Damien's voice hardens. By preventing him from becoming what you are, a danger to everyone around you. My son is dead because you couldn't control your power. How many more will you kill before you accept that you need our guidance? The words hit like acid. Elena feels the old shame rising, the voice that's haunted her for years. You're dangerous. You're broken. You need to be controlled. Then she looks at Nora. At the other bloodline wolves. At their bruises, their terror, their drugged compliance. This is what council guidance looks like. This is what they wanted to do to Theo. No, Elena says quietly. No, Damien's expression hardens. You don't have a choice. You're right. Elena's voice strengthens. I don't have a choice. Because choosing to surrender, to let you drug and train and use us, that's not really a choice. That's just slow death. The silver flame explodes outward. Not wild. Not uncontrolled. Precise. Devastating. A wave of fire that forces the hunters back, that melts the tranquilizer darts midair, that creates a circle of protection around the bloodline wolves. So here's what's actually going to happen, Elena continues, and her voice carries power now. Not alpha command, but something older. The authority of the Thorn line, of generations of flame bearers. We're leaving. All of us. And anyone who tries to stop us is going to learn exactly how dangerous I can be when I stop apologizing for my power. Damien's eyes widen. You can't. I can. Elena's flames burn brighter. I've spent years being afraid. Years letting people like you tell me I was too much, too dangerous, too broken. But you know what? You were right. I am dangerous. I am powerful. And I'm done pretending I'm not. Zane moves to her side, his presence solid and steady. We stand with her. All of us. Behind them, the bloodline wolves straighten. Even drugged, even terrified, they feel the shift. Feel Elena's conviction calling to something deep in their own spirits. Nora's eyes clear. Storm clouds gather visible through the facility's windows. The 10-year-old boy's hands spark with electricity. The scaled woman's skin hardens, armor forming from her own body. You're making a mistake, Damien warns. Maybe. Elena's smile is fierce. But it's my mistake to make. Not yours. Not the council's. Mine. She releases the silver flame fully. It doesn't burn randomly. Doesn't destroy everything in sight. Instead, it flows with purpose, melting locks, weakening walls, creating a path of escape while leaving the bloodline wolves untouched. The thorn tree taught her this. Creation and destruction in balance. The flame doesn't just consume. It transforms. Chaos erupts. Hunters attack, but Zane meets them with brutal efficiency. Marcus fights alongside him, proving his loyalty with every blow. The bloodline wolves, shaking off their drugged haze through sheer will, begin using their gifts. Storm winds tear through the corridor. Lightning dances between Nora's fingers. The scaled woman becomes a shield, her armor turning aside bullets and claws. And Elena stands at the center of it all, silver flame blazing from her hands, and for the first time in her life, she's not afraid of her own power. She's glorious. The facility's walls crack. The wards shatter. Outside, she can hear more chaos, Reyna and Adrian and Isla creating havoc, drawing away reinforcements. Fall back. Damien's shouting. Call for backup. We need. Thunder cracks so loud it shakes the foundation. Nora's storm has arrived fully, no longer held back by drugs or fear. Rain pounds the facility. Wind tears at the roof. Move. Zane shouts. Everyone move now. They run. The bloodline wolves, supported by Elena and Zane and Marcus, stumble toward freedom. Guards try to stop them, but they're overwhelmed by the sheer chaotic power of multiple gifts unleashed at once. Elena glances back once. Sees Damien standing in the destroyed corridor, his face a mask of rage and something else. Fear. He's afraid of her. Good. They burst into the courtyard. The demonstration has dissolved into panic, alphas fleeing, council members trying to maintain order. Reyna's shadows dance through the crowd, disorienting. Adrian's fire lights the sky. And at the forest's edge, Isla waves frantically. This way. Hurry. They make it. All of them. Bloodied and exhausted but alive, they crash into the forest as the facility's alarm scream behind them. No one follows immediately. The council is too disorganized, too shocked by the suddenness of the attack. They run for hours. The bloodline wolves support each other, adrenaline overriding their exhaustion. Marcus knows the terrain, leads them through paths that avoid main roads and packed territories. By the time they reach the Thornawood, dawn is breaking. The grove welcomes them. The thorn tree's branches spread wide, flame leaves dancing, and Elena feels its approval wash over her like a blessing. They did it. They actually did it. Theo runs from the magical shelter, throwing himself at Elena with enough force to knock her back a step. Mommy, you came back. You promised, and you came back. Always, baby. She's crying now, relief and exhaustion and fierce joy mixing together. Always. The bloodline wolves collapse in the grove, safe for the first time in days, weeks, months. Some cry. Some just sit in stunned silence. All of them are free. Zane finds Elena once Theo finally releases her. His expression is complicated, pride and concern and something deeper. "You were incredible in there," he says quietly. "I was terrified." "You were both." He touches her face gently. "Elena, you claimed your power tonight. Really claimed it. Do you understand what that means? That the council will never stop hunting us now." "Yes." But also, he pauses. "You're the flame bearer the prophecies talked about. The one who burns away corruption. Tonight, you proved it. You freed these wolves not just from physical cages, but from the belief that they needed to be controlled. You showed them what freedom looks like." Elena looks around the grove. At the 7 bloodline wolves they rescued, plus Isla, Adrian, Reina, Marcus. At Zane and Theo. At this makeshift family built from outcasts and rebels. "So what now?" she asks. "Now." Zane's smile is fierce. "Now we build. We train. We prepare. Because you're right, the council won't stop. But neither will we. We're not hiding anymore, Elena. We're fighting back." Thunder rumbles overhead. Nora's storm, still lingering as if nature itself is agreeing. Elena Thorne, exile and flame-bearer, mother and warrior, stands in the grove that's been waiting for her since before she was born and makes a vow. No more running. No more apologizing. No more letting others define what she is. The council wants a war? They're about to get one. And the silver flame burns brightest when everything else has turned to ash. 3 days after the rescue, Elena stands at the grove's edge, watching her growing family train. Nora practices calling storms with Isla's guidance, learning to whisper to the wind instead of screaming at it. The 10-year-old boy, his name is Cole, she's learned, creates shields of pure electricity, while Adrian coaches him on control. The scaled woman, Sienna, moves through combat forms with Marcus, her armor rippling like water made solid. And Theo. Theo sits with Zane near the thorn tree, both of them wreathed in soft light. Silver Flame meeting Alpha Command, 2 gifts learning to dance together instead of fight. It's not perfect. Nothing ever is. They're still learning, still healing, still terrified of what comes next. But they're together. And somehow, that makes all the difference. "We have to move soon," Zane says, approaching her. "The council knows we're organizing. They'll send everything they have." "I know. There are more bloodline wolves out there. More who need what we're building here." "I know." "Elena." He turns her to face him. "This is going to get worse before it gets better. Much worse. The council won't stop until we're dead or captured. Other packs will join them, either from genuine belief in the system or from fear of what we represent. We're about to become the most hunted wolves in existence." "I know," she repeats, and then she smiles. "But we're also about to become the most free." Zane's expression softens. "No regrets?" Elena thinks about the girl she was. 17 and terrified, watching Connor burn, being exiled into a world that saw her as a monster. She thinks about the years of hiding, of suppressing, of teaching herself to be smaller, quieter, less. She thinks about Theo in that river, about the pack chasing them, about all the moments she wanted to give up. And she thinks about now. About silver flame flowing through her veins like coming home. About Zane's steady presence. About these broken, powerful wolves learning to trust again. "No regrets," she says firmly. He kisses her then. Soft and sweet and full of promise. Elena's first kiss as someone who's not running. As someone who's chosen to stand and fight. When they break apart, Theo is watching with a child's frank interest. "Does this mean Zane is staying forever?" he asks. Elena and Zane exchange a glance. A smile. "Yeah, kid," Zane says. "I think it does." "Good." Theo's expression is serious. "We need him. For when the bad guys come back." "And they will come back, won't they?" "Yes," Elena doesn't lie to him. "Never has." "They will. Then we'll fight them." Theo's small chin lifts. "Together. Like a real pack." "A real pack." Not bound by territory or tradition or the old laws that said some wolves were more valuable than others, but bound by choice, by shared experience, by the simple, radical belief that power doesn't make you a monster, how you use it does. Elena looks at the thorn tree. Its flame leaves dance in a wind only they can feel, and she swears she can hear its ancient voice whispering. This is what you were made for. Not to hide, not to apologize, but to burn bright enough that others can find their way out of the darkness. Are you ready? She is. For the first time in her life, Elena Thorne is ready. The council will come. The packs will rise against them. Blood will be spilled and battles will be fought, and nothing about the future is certain. But Elena has her son. She has Zane. She has this growing family of outcasts who've chosen each other when the world chose to cast them aside. And she has the silver flame. The first flame. The fire that burns away corruption and lights the path to freedom. So let the council come. Let them bring their hunters and their chains and their absolute certainty that they have the right to control those they deem too powerful to exist. Elena will be waiting. And she will show them what true power looks like. Not domination, not control, but choice, freedom. The unbreakable strength of people who've decided that survival isn't enough. They want to live. Would you have chosen her side? If you'd been there in that courtyard, watching Elena burn away her chains, would you have stood with her? Or would you have stepped back, frightened by the flame, convinced by the council's propaganda that power like hers needs to be contained? Would you have looked at Theo for years old and terrified and more powerful than any child should be and seen a threat? Or seen a boy who just wanted his mother to be safe? Would you have seen monsters? Or would you have seen people? The truth is, we're all capable of becoming what Elena feared most. Not because of what we carry in our veins, but because of what we carry in our hearts. Fear can make monsters of anyone. Fear of difference, fear of change, fear of power that doesn't bow to existing structures. But love, fierce, uncompromising love, can make heroes of the broken. Elena Thorne isn't a chosen one. She's not destined by prophecy or blessed by gods. She's just a mother who refused to let the world tell her daughter, or herself, that being different meant being wrong. She's just a woman who learned that the power everyone told her was a curse could also be a gift. She's just someone who decided that running wasn't enough anymore. And in that decision, she became exactly what the prophecies predicted, the flame bearer who burns away corruption, who lights the dark, who shows others that freedom is worth fighting for. Is she a hero? Or just a girl cursed with too much fire? Maybe she's both. Maybe we all are. If this story lit something inside you, if you felt Elena's terror in that river, if you raged at the council's cruelty, if you hoped against hope that she and Theo would survive, then you belong here. Subscribe to Cindy's Wolfheart Stories. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a story. Because here, in this space we're building together, we tell tales that burn. We tell stories about outcasts who become warriors. About power that breaks chains instead of forging them. About love that's fierce enough to remake the world. We tell stories about people like Elena. Like Zane. Like every bloodline wolf who's been told they're too much, too dangerous, too different to deserve freedom. And we tell them because someone needs to hear that being different isn't a curse. It's a gift. So subscribe. Join us. Become part of this pack we're building, not bound by territory or tradition, but by the simple truth that everyone deserves to burn bright. Everyone deserves to be free. And together, we're going to set the whole world on fire.